I'm trying to see the curve. Oh wait, that's fake. Just another fish-eyed lens. Let's look at the ships at sea. They're getting farther now. Oh, they're not disappearing. And hey, there's a land that I should not see. But as I'm staring right at it, all this time did I believe in a big lie? Could I not see the earth was a straight line? I never saw a curve, never saw a curve. Holiness is rendition, they say it's CGI. I have to do tests, show no curve, but a straight line.
Hello and welcome back to another edition of the Flat Earth Podcast for another hour or so of Flat Earth audio. I'm your co-host for now, Matt Long, and with me as always is Dave from Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole. Dave, how are you, buddy?
I am doing fantastic depending on what scale you look at, but I like to look at the one where I'm fantastic. I don't fit in with society. There's strangers all around me. There's zombies. But from my point of view, I'm doing fantastic.
Great. Does it vary with weather conditions?
Yeah, weather does affect it. Like when it gets windy, I go out kite surfing and then I forget about everything.
Nice.
Except when I am kite surfing, I'm looking at the horizon, I'm looking at the clouds, I'm looking at the sun. So it doesn't stop. But at least I'm away from zombies. Yeah,
I was thinking about how the other day walked out onto my back porch and we live on a lake, and it's only the stretch that I look across is only maybe a mile across, but it was so foggy I couldn't see the other side, and it never occurred to me that
curvature.
I know, it never occurred to me that the curvature might have gotten worse because I couldn't see the other side.
Yeah, that's how it works in the ballers' minds.
Yeah. Amazing.
Have you been following the Globe Light Euro Tour at all? I
have not. What's been happening?
So Jason of the Disbury family has been, I think he's been like 2 weeks now, and day by day they go to different cities, they set up their things. It's amazing how the people, excuse me, change. There's like a trolley time, and then there's like an awake time, and then it's just different groups of people show front pack. So that was interesting. And he goes he asked a question. I forget what the question was, but he goes, full disclosure, I'm a Simon Dan follower, right? So right there, I'm like, woo, you're following Simon Dan. You can't see through that fake facade.
Right.
That's disturbing. But he asked a question, and this is a great story because I don't even remember it for quite some time, because Jason doesn't like to say he's a flat earther. He's a ball denier. But it was interesting. But I wanted to congratulate the guy, maybe he's listening to the podcast, for having more balls than Sayop Mandan, because Sayop Mandan won't talk to any of us. He attacks Marty Leeds, and Marty put out several videos of all the attempts, like, hey, come on, let's go on my show. I'll go on your show. Let's talk this out like me.
Yeah, no doubt. I think it's interesting. I wonder if like some of the trolls were coming out saying what they had to say, running around the corner, changing clothes, and then coming back out like they do on the internet, like with a different username.
I did notice that in two different locations there was this woman. There's one woman, she was
They're like
there.
crisis actors.
Yeah, she was there, and basically she wouldn't stop talking. And every question she asked, whether it was Nora, who was doing she wouldn't listen. She would just interrupt them halfway through the first sentence and just go on and on and on. And then like a couple days later in another city, there was a woman that looked just like her. And I killed my whole day, and I wasn't ready for that.
That's the first thing, and that you touch on it when you do interviews in your time.
Yeah, I like trying to set the rules. I'm like, oh, I'm glad you disagree with me. Let's take turns. Say your sentence. Say your statement. Keep it, as concise as you can. Then let me respond, and then you can respond. And then when they interrupt, I just tell them, you're interrupting, let me finish, and I don't let them walk over me. Some people are too nice. Mark Sargent, and let people walk all over them and just sit there and never get their point across.
Oh man, you need to dub in the point ticker for mentioning Mark Sargent at that moment. But yeah, sometimes in their opinions, and you and I have both decided that while it may appear that we have fun doing the show, but we really just reluctantly do it because we're heeding the complaints about not having enough shows.
Yeah, the speak pipes coming in. Just the last one. This is the reason we're recording today is the last speak pipe. Did you hear it? I think I sent it to you. Was basically saying, if you when he said here, I know I'm not supposed to leave more than one. I'm like, oh, I'm going to have to cut this out. And then he pointed out like he left his other one like a month ago.
Valid point.
And enjoy myself. And you have been trying to train your wife to chop.
It's not going great. I will say it was probably less than a second and a half to 2 seconds that the 3 swings happened. We did have a chicken.
Quick question. Yes. If I'm going to chop your head off, do you want it in one fell swoop or you want it 2.5 to 3 seconds?
I pray to God that when I'm beheaded for my faith, it takes less than 3 swings.
Yes. So that was very brave of her to post it on Facebook. If anyone doesn't know what we're talking about, go to Jessica's Facebook, scroll back a little bit to their chicken harvesting party. And let me tell you something. I am not criticizing you because I eat chicken, okay? Mm-hmm. So God bless you, but teach her how to cut a chicken's head off in one swoop.
Well, I'll tell you this. It was fortunately or unfortunately, it was my first time to be part of a chicken harvest. I'll tell you one thing, it was a bloodbath. Okay. It was not for the faint of heart. And yes, we allowed Jess to cut one of the heads off. And I would say that if she got a second chance, she probably would have done it in one fell swoop. I got pretty good at it to where I didn't even have anybody hold it for me. I was grabbing the chicken with one hand. You put its head between 2 nails, you pull it, and then you swing. And the weird thing is, Dave, after you cut their heads off, squawking noises still come from their body.
I think I just came up with a name for this podcast, this episode. It's called Not for Vegans. And then I learned how you defeather a chicken, which is basically on a spinning brush roll, like something you'd polish shoes on, but I guess a lot more stiff. And I'm watching Jessica do that, and literally it looked like she could be nursing a baby on one hand while doing it with the other hand. She was so like, oh yeah, blah blah blah. I'm defeathering a chicken in this brutal manner. Wow.
And then the amazing thing is, like, those chickens, they look like those toy rubber chickens when you're done with them, and they look naked. It's a little bit awkward, but so you basically chop the head off, you throw it into some hot water so it kind of kind of loosens the feathers. Then you could manually, the old school way, just pluck all the feathers out, or you get this spinning wheel that Dave's talking about. Then you gut them, then you chop off the legs and the ends of the wings, and then you freeze them.
Last question on this topic, and then we'll change because I know the vegans are absolutely freaking out right now. Is there any difference to this chicken harvesting party on a flat earth or a ball earth, or does it work in both?
I would say it falls into the category of works on both.
Doesn't prove either.
Yeah, but I would say you're a lot happier doing it on a flat earth.
All right.
Especially when everyone there was pretty much a flat earther. So
getting back to the Globe Live Tour, just today or yesterday or whatever day, because this won't come out today, I posted a clip of some random young guy that showed up, wasn't part of the tour, and schooled people on flat earth. Did you see it?
No, I did not.
Oh, you're not keeping up with my videos, man.
I'm not, sorry.
And so he did a really great job, and that basically he said, I'm not a flat earther. He's a globe questioner. He questions flat earth also, and he's a flat earther. But he ended it with saying he'd like to think that the earth is flat because then it makes us special, and it was a very puts us at the center and makes us important. And it was a great message, and people seem to like it. So check that out on the DITRH YouTube channel. It's called. The name of the video is called "Three Businessmen Take a Walk." 3 businessmen Globers take a walk in the park. None come out. Or
None
something,
come
something,
out.
something like that. Like, three men walk into a bar. It was supposed to be like that, but three Globers walk into the park. None come out. That's what it was.
Nice. Well, you mentioned he's claiming to not necessarily accept both, questioning both, and Owen Benjamin made an interesting point on his show, and maybe he's done it before, but I just happened to be watching this one where he was talking about binaries and how if you have a choice of one thing or the other, you need to, and he was comparing it to The Princess Bride, but you need to be worried that maybe they both are evil or they both are wrong. And he talks about how someone asked him red pill or blue pill, and his joke was, well, I don't accept pills from random black guys in trench coats. He's like, maybe there's a third answer.
He's
And
so
it's like,
so fast with those
yeah,
thoughts.
yeah.
I don't know how he does it.
And like heads or tails, there's actually a third side to the coin if you can stand on it. It's super skinny, but there is a third side to the coin where you can stand and look on either side.
Did you watch that whole episode? Did you see the Dave Weiss shout out?
No, I didn't. I watched the part
Thank
about
God.
Princess Bride because I love that movie, and so I wanted to see what he was talking about.
So somebody took a picture of the Princess Bride where you got the big Andre the Giant and then the little small hat who's kind of like had his head in his lap, and someone changed Andre's face to Owen's face. And Owen saw me in the chat, and he goes, "Hey," he mentioned me, and he goes, "You want to see a picture of me and Dave Weiss?" And he pulls up that picture. Okay, so I saw that live, and I'm like, "Oh man!" And my phone blew up. I mean, I'm getting texts from people. My Facebook is blowing up. They're like, funny," and I'm just like, "Oh my God, it was the worst." So. Owen, if you're listening, you owe me a full apology because it really has disturbed me that you said that was me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, amazing. You know, what do you think, since this is basically turning into an episode of House where we have like three different storylines going at once, going back to the notion of our shows and how frequent they are, what if we just did a 10-minute daily show? What would you think about that? We talked about this before, kind of basically just doing a phone call.
You know, maybe we can figure out some short clips to do something like a sideshow or whatever. We'll work on that.
Yeah. When you were doing DITRH, didn't you guys record a couple at once?
They were 1 hour shows, and we'd go. I have to go into New York City, which was a whole thing. So we go every 2 weeks and we record 2 shows. So it was 1 show a week.
Right.
But we would do 2 at a time. So that was hell and fun and not fun at all.
Nice.
Hey, speaking of sticking at Owen for a second, he was talking about, you know how he's so positive. He's just like, there's no room for despair. If you put a disparaging comment about anything, he bans you for life. Right? He's like, there's no room for despair. Look at the bright side, because I've been saying this for years. You attract what you are. Your mental attitude attracts that reality. So, if you're feeling poor and miserable, you're going to be poor and miserable. If you're feeling, abundant and happy and healthy, you're going to be abundant, happy, and healthy.
Right.
And there's just look at anybody. They're a perfect example and proof of this reality in this crazy world we live in.
It's been a conspiracy theory for a while, but you and I have proved it that he stole Band for Life from us, right?
Absolutely. I'm over that, and he's welcome to have it. But,
I'm over it too. Yeah,
he's welcome to have it.
Okay. But he had like a genius idea you wanted to talk about.
His genius idea was he was talking about the mainstream media, how they're just full of it's all garbage. It's all just fear porn. And he said he convinced his mailman to deliver his Time magazine subscription 10 years late. And he goes, so he gets one. He goes, "Oh, Ebola is going to kill us." He's like, "Oh, we survived Ebola. We survived AIDS. Oh my God, the nuclear bomb, the Samson, option. Look, we survived it all." And if you go back and look at Time magazine 10 years ago, everything that they were saying is going to happen didn't happen.
Wow.
Yeah, I think it
That's
was
awesome.
It's so true. Everything is so fake. Everything is so fake. I just watched a Barnabas Nagy video about news being before it happens, and he just clipped together all these examples of news that happened before it happened, and it's just an actor-based reality that we live in. So,
wow,
it makes my head spin.
Yeah,
Unlike the
amazing. Well, you talked about the Global Tour. Let's talk about the conference a bit. We got a conference coming up in Dallas.
Yeah,
pretty soon.
FE2019.com. It's shaping up nicely.
Nice.
It's going to be there. There's Amsterdam's coming up now, but then after Amsterdam in the U.S. is the big conference run by Robbie Davidson, and you and I are going to be doing a little demonstration podcast, question and answer seminar.
Yep.
That's
yeah.
Going to be a lot of fun. We're gonna deal with perspective and how the sun sets and a bunch of other things. So that should be a blast.
We'll be doing live speak pipes.
Some live speak pipes right there. That's true.
Yeah. And if we record it, then we don't have to worry about doing a podcast that month.
Well, that's a good point. I'm in. A new speaker is, everybody probably knows by now, but is Marty Leeds.
All right.
Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Wow, I guess, I announced it on Raw, and Jaron didn't even know it. I was like, come on, man. Pay attention. We're all getting, there's so much content out there, it's like you can't keep up with it.
You can't.
But Marty Leeds is going to come. He's going to do a Flat Earth presentation this year. I just listened early this morning when I was getting ready to go to work. He did an interview on some other show, and literally it was an hour and a half. He could condense that down, and that would blow people away in the conference. And he did that just literally off the cuff. So,
and what was the topic?
It was about Jesus, and how you got to listen. You got to watch. It's just how he called it the Church of, I forget what it was, what he named it, but basically how Jesus.
Give it up. It's over.
My brain is gone.
It's
so good, but I'll put the link in the description, and you guys could watch it. And that way, he won't be able to do it at the conference. He'll have to come up with something new.
I think he should call it Jesus. So we should call the talk.
But it wasn't. And it wasn't religious in any way. He's a follower of Jesus, but not in the way that anybody would get offended at on either side of the biblical fence.
Sounds interesting.
It was quite good. Quite good.
Yeah, there was somewhere I wanted to go after that, but you derailed it so heavily. I'm kind of at a loss here. We might as well talk.
Go
ahead.
No, you first.
Well, I was just going to say, since you're talking about basically an off-the-cuff inspired deal, we could talk about the video I just put out. Well, okay, I remember what I was going to say. I think the reason I don't catch a lot of content is because I get stuck watching celebrating too early montages on YouTube with these athletes that are celebrating, like running a race, and then they jump up and sprain their ankle and someone else beats them. That's usually my hang up. But
that's what you've been watching?
Sometimes. It's real. It's all real. I can believe it's real.
Is that real? I'd love to watch something real, because I can't find anything real.
Yeah, right. It's very inspiring. And speaking of inspiring, I had a very inspired video as I sat down to watch on our VHS player. By the way, we still use VHS. So on our VCR, we were watching Finding Nemo, and they had like a short film preview, Pixar, and it was a film called Knick Knack. And I put a video together about how it was very interesting, some of the flat Earth imagery they were using in that video. It
was amazing, and you told me you put it together very quickly and just did it.
Yeah.
Basically, it was tell the story of what it was in a nutshell for those that haven't seen it.
Yeah, so basically it starts out and it shows all these knickknacks on a shelf, and they appear to be like souvenirs from different places in the world, and it shows you like 5 or 6 cities or nations. It shows you like sunny Miami, it says sunny Jamaica, and it gives it like 4 more examples. They all say sunny and they all have sunglasses on, and then it goes way over to the other side of the shelf, and it says it has a snow globe, and it says Gnome Sweet Gnome, which could mean home, could mean dome, but it shows basically a snowman with no sunglasses on, so he's far away from the sun, just like you would be in Antarctica, and he realizes he's in like a dome and he's trying to break out. And they use a couple things, like he tries to drill out just like they did in Russia. He tries to blow it up just like we did in over the Pacific Ocean, and then he finally knocks it off the edge, the snow globe, and he falls, into none other than a fishbowl. Speaking of Operation Fishbowl, and he ends up in water. By the way, he gets out of the dome and he's in water. Very strange. So, and the fact that Pixar, any movie they come out with, Walt Disney releases it, and in fact, Walt Disney actually filmed Operation Deep Freeze, and he's an honorary member. And in the Disney logo, you've got the firmament, and then you've basically got the Tower of Babel from Genesis 11, whose top would reach unto heaven. So, very, very cool stuff. And like I said, it was kind of like downloaded into me. I just I picked it off the internet and threw it together real quick. And Dave you're talking about how that happens to you quite a bit, where this idea just gets thrown into your head and you got to do it.
Yeah, sometimes I just get inspired for a video and it just comes together, and then I'll put the video together, and you know how I like to lay music underneath my video. I'll find the perfect song that literally syncs up with the scene changes, and it just lays in there, and it's no accident.
Oh yeah.
It's so good. And but again, my videos are short, so it's not like I'm putting together a Jaron, movie like he does. And
could you imagine how much time that would take?
I'm so impatient. Like I come up with an idea for a video, it's got to be done in a couple of hours and uploaded.
Or I'm going to come up with a new idea, and I won't even want to do that one anymore.
Right. So again, I cater to the people like myself, short attention. You need something quick to get them. Because people aren't going to watch a long flat Earth video if they don't believe in flat Earth until they get sucked in with little nuggets of crack.
People's attention are going to change with the tides, Dave.
Oh, nice transition there. Yeah. So here's a helio-nonsensical quiz for you. What causes the tides?
Well, it's the moon, right?
Okay, and what does the moon do?
Pulls the water around the Earth.
It pulls the water. And where on the helio-nonsensical ball is the moon traveling? Is it traveling over the poles? Is it traveling around the equator, close to the equator?
I think it's close to the equator. Isn't it traveling like anywhere between the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn?
Right. The Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn, and for those that have never put it together, are parallel lines to the equator that are pretty close to the equator. So the moon and the sun travel over the equator, and they oscillate in between those two. And in the helio-nonsensical model, it's because the Earth is tilted, and so when it moves around, it changes the relative position of the sun and moon. So the moon's gravity pulls the water towards it, right?
Right.
So here's two problems. One, at high tide, the moon should pull all the water away from the shore because it's pulling the center of the water, towards it. And then the tides in the tropics on the equator should be massive because that's where the 14-mile hump of water is.
Agreed, because it's closer to the moon.
Well, that's the 14 miles is because of the alleged spin of the Earth. But because that's where the moon is, and that's where it's pulling all the water. But in reality, the tides on the tropics, like on what are those little islands right on the equator, the beautiful beaches, whatever, they have like 1-inch tides. They have a couple inches. Yeah. That's it. And the massive tides are in the north. The farther north you go, the bigger the tides.
Yeah. And tell me this, aren't there multiple tides in a day? There's not just two tides in one day.
There's two highs and two lows with about an hour, to make it shift. So it changes. It's a 6.5 hours.
But the moon doesn't go around that many times.
Right. So there's two high tides, but the moon only goes around once. Do you know that in the helio-nonsensical model, when the moon is pulling the high tide to one side of the world, there's a high tide on the other side directly across from it at the same time. Do you know the reason for that?
Why?
In the Helio Neil deGrasse nonsensical model, it's because the tide is pulling the waters on the side of the Earth that's near the moon, and it's also pulling the Earth away from the water on the other side.
Beautiful model.
This is what Globers will say, oh, stop it, right? But that's the model that they believe in. It's kind of like, when you tell somebody that the plane in Shanksville hit the ground and the ground liquefied, swallowed the plane so deep, and then it solidified that they can't get the plane out. They don't believe you, but that's the official story.
Yeah, amazing. I was trying to think if, now that I'm thinking about the formula, I don't know if it's the case, but, the sun and the moon proportionally are the same distance and size-wise. So, like, in the helio-noncentrical Neil deGrasse, whatever you just called it, Tyson model, the moon is closer, but it's significantly smaller. The sun is further away, but it's significantly bigger.
400 times farther, 400 times larger.
Right. So now we're just talking size, but if that was mass, and I think like force of gravity is like m1 times m2 divided by distance squared, something like that. If their masses were similarly proportional, it would seem that the sun would have just as much a role in the tides as the moon would.
And also,
should.
The new moon. How come that doesn't pull the tide the exact same amount? It's the moon. It's still there. It just doesn't have a flashlight on it.
Wonderful questions that I think maybe we could get M. Craig back on here to answer.
Of course. I was trying to develop a game with egg carton, the foam that looks like an egg carton, so it's kind of like a checkerboard, but it has hills and valleys. And you put magnets, and you just keep putting these little magnets in it, and you try not to have any of them jump and connect to each other. Okay.
Nice.
So I was experimenting with this for a long time, and it's impossible. You can't do it. As you're trying to put one in, the magnet going in pulls one, and another one rolls over. And it'd be
a good carnival game.
Yeah, but think about this. For millions and millions and millions of years, we have the sun and all of our planets going around on this flat, cosmic plane of spinning, and they all have gravity, different amounts. None of them ever tug on each other and screw up the cycle. The cycle always remains perfect. Perfect.
It's just like the lie of evolution, where they say there was a mutation and it created something better. That never happens. Mutations always lead to something being worse and less efficient. And you have something called entropy, which is this notion that everything is slowing down, everything is losing energy. And the fact that, first of all, you could say nothing exploded and created everything. Logical fallacy, right?
Matt, this world. This is
and
where...
yet it gains. That was Owen yesterday.
It's just amazing how people will just defend a belief that they don't even understand.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. The first thing someone should do when looking into flat Earth is figure out what they believe or what they've been believing with the helio-nonsensical model, and that should be enough to make you open your mind and look at the flat Earth. Because when you see these comments like, do you even science, or what are your credentials, or have you ever taken a physics class, or have you ever looked into this? And the answer is yes. Have you ever questioned any of it? Right
It's there. The thing I always post when people are commenting like, you believe this, that's crazy, there's so much proof. I'm like, okay, great. Can you provide me one, please? Just one, not 10, not 20, not 30, just one. And nobody can do it. Either they give me a list of stuff, which is nonsense, all of it's been debunked, or they just don't come back. But just if flat Earth was nonsense and the globe has been proven for, however long you want to say, you should be able to come up with one thing that proves the globe. Just one.
Right.
And there are none. Getting back to how this world is crazy and how you you go outside and you really have to dumb yourself down to have conversations with people that have no idea that they're sleeping. It's really nice to be around people that are awake. You on your commune, everyone's awake there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're
awake.
surrounded by family and some friends and some that so that must be really nice for you.
Yeah, it's great.
When we got the speak pipe a while ago by JQ, who said he lives in my town, and I immediately gave him my number, and we've met up and we've become best friends. And he's coming to the conference. He's so psyched about coming to the conference because he's feeling that way. He has like one person at work that kind of gets it, and that's it. And he's got me. But when you go to the conference and you just see all of these people, that's where you and I met. It's life-changing.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, speaking of life-changing, we had a life-changing event happen for the nation of India recently, where they were attempting to land something on the moon, just like every other parent country is trying to do these days, and once again failed, again proving just the superiority of the United States, right?
Did you see the video?
No, I didn't see the video. I was in between celebrating too early videos and cats and cucumber videos. You
know how the cats and cucumbers videos rule. When the U.S. does a moon landing or moon launch or whatever, or space launch, something usually does take off, but then within less than a minute it switches to CGI.
Yep.
They didn't even do anything real. It was all a cartoon, and the quality of the cartoon literally made South Park look like a Pixar movie.
Nice. Well, it's so similar to the Israeli one.
No, right? Israeli was way high tech next to this. It literally, do you remember was it Space Invaders, the original like Atari game?
Yeah.
It was the Space Invaders thing that was moving across the screen. It was ridiculous, and then all of a sudden they lost contact, and everyone's like, oh, they weren't clapping like Israel was, but they were like, right. Oh, we lost contact. But it was just literally a line on you and I, with our limited graphics skills, could have done it 1,000 times better. And it's so sad, because a lot of the Globers will go, what about when all these other countries are going to go to the moon? What are you going to say then? Well, we're saying it now. Look at Israel. Look at India. It's utter nonsense.
Yep.
Nonsense.
Well, I'm sorry that's ruined for you. You also mentioned that nature shows are now ruined for you, and just everything in general is ruined for you.
Do you like watching those nature shows? They're really amazing, right?
Yeah, I do. I used to not like them because something would always die in the process. It was usually
now you're cutting chickens' heads off while breastfeeding babies.
I can't justify that emotion anymore now that I'm chopping heads off.
So now that I have a more critical eye, again, they mix real with not real. And I was watching this one scene where they filmed this mating ritual between these crazy birds in the middle of the desert, in the middle of the jungle. And I'm like, okay, I understand these guys will stay there for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks to get a shot. But they literally had a 15 different camera shoot of this one bird. And never once do you see another camera or an apparatus or anything in any shot. And I'm like, I'm not even sure if the bird is real. Okay.
Yeah, right.
But I know that this entire story they made up about it is nonsense.
Yeah.
And it's all, and I noticed in the video, less than every 5 minutes they would say something. This has been here longer, than the dinosaurs. They mentioned dinosaurs, and then they flash to when they switch scenes, they flash to the literally a space station shot of the Earth or whatever, and it's so fake. But it's globe Earth, constantly with the globe Earth and the references to make you believe we live in a globe, and they have to have a compelling, hypnotic, amazing story. So they're making this crap up to suck you in, and then they're like, globe, back to the bird, globe, okay, spinning globe, and it's fake. Everything's been taken away from me since I discovered the ball. Even my hot showers, ODD told me that I have to take cold showers because it makes you healthier. It takes away aches and pains. It just does so many things, and it's true, but it sucks.
Well, as we said before, we're still eating meat. So why don't we take a break and do some speak pipes, and then come back in the show.
All right. We'll be right back.
Following announcement has been paid for by the Flat Earth Podcast.
You want to leave a digital voicemail for us? Head over to theflatearthpodcast.com and click on the blue link that reads, "Got a question? Send us a message."
You can do it from your iPhone or from your computer. First time you do it on your cellular phone, you'll have to download a little app. But after that, you can leave us all kinds of messages. If you want to be anonymous, you can make up a name, make up an email address. We don't care. We just want to hear what you have to say.
We'll do our best to play or answer these questions and comments on future episodes right here on the Flat Earth Podcast. Download the SpeakPipe app and check us out at theflatearthpodcast.com.
The Flat Earth Podcast.
If you're watching this audio on YouTube right now and you're not familiar with the world of podcasting, there's a far better way to listen to the Flat Earth Podcast each and every week.
Think of it like your TiVo or your DVR is to your television. You subscribe to whatever show that you like. Whenever a new episode comes out, it records it, downloads it, and notifies you that there's a new episode for easy listening anywhere. Another great feature on most podcast players is you could speed up if you want to hear stuff even faster, or more importantly, it has a jump back and jump forward 30 seconds so you could skip annoying announcements like this.
We're on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and so many more. If we're not on your favorite podcast app, send us a message and let us know to make sure we will be.
The Flat Earth Podcast.
My fellow citizens, I got some great news. Not fake news. This is great news. It gives me great pleasure to introduce and endorse from the Flat Earth Podcast. I love these guys. A breakthrough for the geocentric world. I want everybody to have this. It's the new Flat Earth Sun and Moon Clock. Right on your phone. That's where it goes. It's beautiful. I got it. Melania loves it. Ivanka, too, are crazy about it. You know, all that money was spent on NASA, and they couldn't come up with this. It shows me right where I am. I know where the moon is. The season's got everything. It's got the wall. Not that wall. The ice wall. You gotta get this. The Flat Earth Sun and Moon Clock. I'm Donald Trump, and I approve of this app. Tremendous technology. So simple. Barron, make it work for me, will you? This kid's so clever. Kids are clever. But CNN, so stupid.
Yeah.
Hello, boys. Jiminy Glick here with my SpeakPipe Special Edition. Flat Earth, it's so hip right now, you know. It's like, forget the Golden Globes. Give me the pancakes. I always say that. And what about celebrities with Flat Earth? Who has been to space that we know? Armstrong, of course, and Buzz, but they're Freemasons. And we know we can't trust them, can we? And how about Harrison Ford? Han Solo. Don't you think we could send him up to the space station and he could look down and give us his global warming report? He gets so angry. Oh, that's right. There is no space station, is there? And when are you guys going to do an interview with Mark? Or is Mark Sargent persona non grata? He's got to be Flat Earth's biggest celebrity, don't you think so? A little crazy and unhinged. And what's with all those funny hats? No one really understands him. Well, that's all, boys. Dixie's calling me, and I just hope the real Jiminy Glick doesn't sue.
Yeah.
And, you know, listen, I have callers on hold every day who say we shouldn't vaccinate.
He's an awesome guy. He's an awesome guy. He's an awesome guy. He's an awesome guy. So that's happening.
Yeah.
I love the Flat Earth Podcast. You know that. It's so good. And now they tell me, you got to listen to this one. They show me the picture. Looks like poop on the plane. I say, I don't want to poop on the plane. I don't want pee asked. And you know, I like that. Like the Pound Me Too movement. Is this X-rated? Who knows? I'm Donald Trump, and I endorse poop on the planes, do moonshots, whatever.
Yeah.
All right, the first one is from Robin.
Hi, Dave, Matt. This is Robin from the UK. I just want to say thank you so much for all your efforts. I've been listening since the very first episode, and it even inspired Roxanne and I to get our own podcast going. Just want to let you know that the Globe Live Tour starts at the end of August, and then the Globe Live Convention is from September the 13th through to the 15th. For more information on both these big events in the Europe, go to feconvention.com/Kidderminster to look at ticketing and speaker schedule for the convention, and globelive.co.uk to see the monumental European tour of activism, which will see loads of your familiar faces. Mark Sargent will be out there on the bus. Paul on the Plane will be out there on the tour bus, Dave Murphy, Dave Marsh, and many, many more. So I hope you can play this on the podcast in time, guys. I hope you're enjoying your summer. Take care and see you soon.
So that shows how long it's been since we've done a podcast, because I believe it starts today. So maybe I'll even get this out by the 14th so people can jump on. But, doing the flat smacking with Jason of the Disbury, and it was really fun to watch. So
I'm just wondering how you have a flat Earth. Is it even real? Is it even real?
Of course it's real. It's just not, it's just not here. I was going to go to this, but I have a wedding, and it's just a crazy, crazy time. So
nice. You're getting married.
I was listening to the pod that I had the greatest answers, and I was just like, I can't take it. That's it. I'm quitting my job. I'm leaving my responsibilities. I'm deserting Paige. I'm heading to the airport. Don't let that guy leave. I'm coming. That's right funny. Now. And everyone's like, yay. And I didn't come.
Hey guys, it's Quaalude Charlie, St. Louis. I'm really to get the video. I hope you guys can start putting the newest ones on YouTube as soon as possible, because some people don't like to, it's kind of a big chore sometimes. Not really. Anyway, really missing Patricia out there in the universe. I wish she'd do some kind of comeback in Flat Earth. Can't wait to hear Mark's commercial that he made in Australia. It'd really be cool to see that. And I think you guys are doing a great job. I really love the app. I got it on one cell phone, even though the cell phone's not connected to a cell phone provider. I got it on my Wi-Fi, and everything still seems to work okay. Everyone seems to be doing some pretty good videos and everything, but that's just because I've got everybody subscribed. If I just go out looking for the videos, I'm having a hard time finding them. So I hope that, maybe add more links onto the app. Anyway, you guys are doing a great job. Love you. Keep it flat. Peace.
Quaalude Charlie, thank you for the call. I'll start off with Patricia is still getting herself together. I would assume she's feeling good from what I've heard. And you never know. She is in Texas, which is where the conference is in November. So I wouldn't be surprised if she doesn't at least show up to say hi to all of her friends.
Yeah, I'd say probably it's too early to technically call it a comeback because it hasn't been that long, though. It would be cool. I think he brings up a good point about the app coming along at the perfect time, because Jess and I were talking about this earlier today, I think, about how Dave, when you and I came into this, it was very easy to find good Flat Earth content on YouTube and Google. And now, because of the change in their algorithm promoting more quote unquote authoritative content, it's very hard to find good Flat Earth stuff out there.
It's unbelievable what auto plays even after a good live stream. Their algorithms are spot on for exactly the opposite of what you were just listening to. Which will, it could steer anybody that's skeptical in the wrong direction. So that's
sure. It. And then he also brought up Mark Sargent's commercial.
Did you see it?
No.
Well, that's good. You don't need to see it, but if you want to see it, it's literally the dumbest commercial ever made, but in an Australian kind of funny way. Yeah. It basically is just taking a bunch of people and making them it's really dumb. Mark came off as the smartest person out of the dummies. Okay.
Nice.
And here's the worst thing that'll happen. If anyone even notices that they said Flat Earth and Mark Sargent, they'll go and they'll Google Flat Earth Mark Sargent, which still gives you a pretty decent result. Which will, that's the worst thing that could happen. So I think it was not bad for Flat Earth. That's my opinion.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks for that. And yes, we always put them on YouTube. I'm forced. Listen back a whole bunch of episodes. It always goes on YouTube, same time as it goes on the other place. So not happy about it, but that's where we're going. Next one is from Mike.
Hey guys, so I just saw a video on YouTube. It was one of those propaganda ones that play after a real Flat Earth video. Anyways, it's called the 10 Things That All Flat Earthers Say. And it was a real compelling video. The guy had pretty good counterpoints for the top 10 things that supposedly we all say. But most of those things have already been debunked by Dave, because I've been following him on various other interviews and stuff, and I'm pretty sure you've already debunked all of them. But I think it would be real cool if you guys, took the time to go watch the video and maybe come back on a future episode and kind of just break it down or give counterpoints to, those counterpoints. I'm a flat earther, but I like to still keep an open mind about things. And it was just, like I said, real compelling. The video is called The 10 Things That All Flat Earthers Say. Thanks.
Thanks for that, Mike. The 10 things that all flat earthers say. Well, one, I always have a problem when they say all you flat earthers. Well, it's never all of us flat earthers. And that video has been debunked so many ways to Sunday. It's not even funny. There's not a single point out there that can't be debunked. And there are videos out there that debunk it. I'll try to find one, stick it in the chat. Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. Most of the time when they say all you flat earthers, they're coming from a concept that they've gotten from one of the mainstream media outlets.
Yeah, or one of the promoted, flat earth debunking full-time shill trolls. And you notice they always have like an English or Australian accent. They always speak, so they're picking people that have speech patterns that are very, authoritative, that sound like, with that accent, you got to be right. That is a powerful thing, and they take advantage of it.
Yep.
Next one is from Snap.
Hey guys, Snap here, calling from Tennessee. I just wanted to bring attention to a video that I came across by a guy named Landell N. Landelln. And he's got a few videos about buoyancy and terminal velocity. Oh wow, there's a helicopter flying over, and a few cops just drove by a couple minutes ago. I wonder what's going on. But anyways, the video talks about buoyancy, and he goes through the equations of it and how it works and explains it very articulately. I mean, it's a computer voice, but it explains how gravity is not included in the equation, how it cancels out, how buoyancy and density perfectly explain why things go up and go down. And it's only got like 60 views. I think it needs to have a lot more. But the reason I wanted to bring that up was talking to people online in cognitive dissonance. And they need to realize people that believe the globe are the ones that are experiencing the cognitive dissonance. They need to fight through and wrap their mind around a different reality in order to have a conversation about the reality, or else they are just going to throw cognitive dissonance in our face like it's a empathetic term.
Oh, got cut off, Matt.
Sorry, I was on mute. I was trying to find the video he was talking about. It sounded really interesting. I've never approached density and buoyancy from the formula for them, so I'd be curious to see what he's talking about.
Buoyancy and density work on both models. They do. And, I think there's a downward force. We've seen some evidence recently that says there is an attraction to the Earth by its negative charge. But buoyancy and density do most of the work, and we've gone over that many times. Thanks, Snap. The next one is from Dan. Not Dan. Dan.
Hey guys, Dan from Massachusetts. I was just wondering if there was any way you guys could please get Martin Kenny to the conference in November, or have him on the podcast. He's just awesome to listen to, and I think he'd be great for advancing not only the flat Earth movement, but getting above and beyond it instead of just staying stuck on it.
Thanks, Dan. What are your thoughts on Martin Kenny?
I think he'd be a good addition. I know you like Martin stuff a lot, right?
Yeah, Martin is very, very good. He is on a whole different level. He believes that there's concentric rings of energy and density and land outside of Antarctica, that there's several rings. And, you know, if anyone wants to check him out, I'll link a couple of his videos in the description. And it is a very, very interesting concept that ties in with lots that we know, like going into outer space, going to Mars. Well, Mars and Venus could be the sun and moon in the next outer ring, and that's
is interesting because Venus has phases.
Yeah, and that's the outer space. It's outer space. And that's why we have all these telescopes in Antarctica that are facing outwards. Nothing is facing up. Everything is facing south, which is outwards. So,
and thinking about that video that I just did, Dave, you know, the snowman got out of the snow globe, right? And he went from sunny Miami, sunny Jamaica, lands in a fishbowl with a knickknack that says sunny Atlantis.
Yeah.
So it's almost as if he got past Antarctica. There was another sun. And a lot of people think Atlantis was the former world, kind of the pre-flood world. And that notion you talked about, expanding civilization theory, about how the next ring would have been the previous world, kind of fascinating.
Yeah, the outward flow of civilization. I'll link that one also. Very, very interesting stuff. I kind of remember, that you watched that commercial was on the VHS that you were watching as a preview, right?
Right.
I remember seeing that years ago when my kids were kids and we were watching VHS. And I thought it was weird. I never put any of it together, but I remember seeing it. So interesting.
Yeah, I was surprised. It's got a lot of positive response. I was surprised that I haven't seen anybody else that had picked that up yet.
Yeah.
I guess it's a little bit older.
Amazing. Next one is from Nicole.
Hi, my name's Nicole Richards, and I'm a flat earther. I just had one question about map datums. It came up recently in my family, and they think that the reason why you have a map datum is because of the curvature of the Earth, which I disagree with, and I feel like you can do it on a plane like you can on a ball, and there's a reason. It's just relative space, like why would you want to go to Istanbul to do your survey, And it's still a pie, it's still a circle, but it's flat. And so do you have an answer for this, Dave? Thank you.
Yeah, I think you simply adjust the map based on your worldview, right? I mean, flat Earth map, the datums and stuff work. It simply changes the shape a little bit of what you perceive is the shape of the continents, which we all know the flat map that's depicting the globe, the continent sizes are off, and everything up in the northern hemisphere is all squeezed together and expanded out. So, your thoughts?
I agree. It works on both. You can have a flat circle, and people think that means it's a ball because there's a circle. Here's something I want to talk about. Just kind of going off of the speak pipe and going to a flat Earth point. Do you know how people say when you could see a huge expanse of the ocean, they say there should be a hump in the middle?
Right.
Do you agree with that, or do you disagree with that?
No, because I think you should be in the hump. If you're in the middle of the ocean, technically you are at the hump, right?
But if you can see left to right for 3,000 miles, from the left to the right, do you think there should be a hump?
I don't know.
Let me tell you my thought before you go.
Okay.
So if you're standing there and you're on a ball, and you take a string and you hold a string between your eyes, and you run that string all the way out to as far as you can see to the horizon, okay? To the point where the ball drops off, okay? And let's say that's 3 miles, 30 miles, doesn't matter. Whatever length it is,
Yeah.
okay? So that's the point that you're seeing to. That's the horizon. If you move that to the right, and move it around, it's still the same distance, and that point of that you're holding at the end of the string is hitting the same level on the ball. Just get a beach ball, a basketball, whatever, and
Right.
a piece of string and hold it and plot points all the way around. Well, that point is at the same exact height all the way around. Because if there was a hump, that means as you turn around, the horizon should drop below your feet, but it doesn't. It's at the same height. So there's many flat earthers that think there should be a hump. What you're seeing is a curve, a flat curve. Just get a piece of dental floss, string of whatever thread, and hold it on the top of the ball, and hold it out as far as you want to where the ball starts curving away, and then mark that point and move it around, and that point is at the same exact elevation all the way around. There is no hump on a ball.
I would agree.
Okay?
I would
So that
agree.
doesn't prove flat Earth. It just people are trying to say there would be a hump and that proves flat Earth. It doesn't. This is anti-flat Earth. Okay? It works on both. It's the same thing on a flat Earth. There shouldn't be a hump. And I know there's other flat Earthers that have given me so much crap about that, but there shouldn't be a hump. Thanks, Nicole. The next one is from Danny.
Hey guys, Dan from Massachusetts. I was wondering if anybody ever had noticed that the 24-hour sun videos at the North Pole always have lakes or oceans or water in them. Wouldn't that be completely impossible unless the entire polar cap was gone? I was wondering about that tonight.
Have you noticed that, Matt?
I have not.
So he's saying that all of the 360 sun videos have water in them? Maybe because you're seeing most of them from Alaska, and they're being taken from high elevations, and you could see some water. I haven't actually seen a 360 from the North Pole. I've only seen them from Alaska, from Norway, other places in the Arctic Circle, but never from the North Pole.
Yeah, I haven't either.
Yeah, so there's lots of reasons you'll see water, but who knows what's at the North Pole? I don't think anyone gets to go there.
I don't either.
The next one is from Art. Then we got one more.
Hey guys, I had a question on ships sailing around the world. I was thinking, like, if they're going east-west on the northern hemisphere, they have to correct north. Either way they're going. If they're in the south, do they correct to the south or to the north? That was one of my questions I had. Also, the censorship is in full effect. It's getting pretty crazy. I try to look up flat earth stuff right now, and it's all debunking stuff. And the suggested videos that YouTube is sending me now is all the horse pucky videos. Anyway, keep it up, guys. I'll try to keep spreading the word on my end. It's getting ridiculous how flat it is out here. Anyway, Godspeed.
Awesome, Art. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, again, another great point about the censorship, and all the more reason for you to gift the app to somebody for sure.
Right. If share the app, go into settings, hit the share on the upper right, send it to somebody, and tell them just to watch the videos. Use the frequently asked questions. Also, anybody out there, if you've been going through it and you see all the videos that I have, if you come across an awesome video that answers a tough question, send it to me, info@theflatearthpodcast.com, so I can add it to that list. It's a growing list of videos, and people are going through them. It's really helping wake a lot of people up. So that deals with the censorship. The question about ships correcting to the north. So let me explain for the few of you that don't understand that. This is something that works on a ball earth and a flat earth. On a ball Earth, if you're at the equator, this is only on a ball, you can go dead reckon 90 degrees or 270 east or west and never have to turn the steering wheel, and you'll go all the way around the ball. Okay? If you're north on a ball, if you're north of the equator, to head 270 or 90, you have to keep correcting to the north in either direction. And the way to envision that is, imagine you're 1 mile from the North Pole, right? You get your compass out, it points at the North Pole. East and west are at 90 degrees to that. So remember that east and west always have to be 90. As you start walking west, that needle is going to turn to maintain pointing at the North Pole. So you have to take a hard right when you're heading to the west, or a hard left, correcting to the north. And 3.14 miles later, you've circumnavigated the North Pole. You're back to where you started. Now move it 10 miles away, 100 miles away, 1,000 miles away. Everything in the northern inner northern or northern hemisphere, depending whether you're flat or ball, you always have to correct to the north. The problem comes when you hit the equator or go south of the equator. On a ball, when you go south of the equator, you'd have to correct to the left, to the south, which is the opposite direction. And there have been, Mark Sargent did a series on professionals. I forget the name of the series, but he had a bunch of ships captains that say when they're dead reckoning south in the southern hemisphere, when they're dead reckoning east or west, they still have to correct to the north. Now, because they're out farther, that correction is less and less noticeable, unlike being a mile away where you have to really take a hard turn. But they've always have to correct to the north. To me, that's a flat Earth proof. Other people, ballers will say, well, it's the current and the wind. I'm like, what about when you're going the other direction? Well, the wind shifts. Do you ever hear of tides? And, there's an answer for everything. But to me, that's a flat Earth proof.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's great.
All right. And the next one, the last one, is from Art again. But the dates on them are quite distance apart. So we're going to let Art go a second time and break our rule.
Hey guys, this is Art. I know I'm only supposed to leave one speak pipe, but since you guys only do one podcast every 3 months or whatever, I'm leaving another one. Couple observations here. I don't know if this is true, but I think you can see Mount Rainier from Vancouver, BC, which is 200 miles, which I think is 22,000 feet of curvature. You should not be able to see Mount Rainier from Vancouver, BC. Also, how in the hell is the Earth still spinning at 1,000 miles an hour or whatever the hell it's spinning at for 6 trillion years or however long we've been here? It's a bunch of bull. Anyway, it's falling apart, this whole world that I grew up in. It's falling to pieces. Anyway, keep it up, fellas. I hope we get a podcast again this year. Okay, bye.
Everybody, this podcast is dedicated to Art. He's the one that made it happen. Go ahead, you comment first because I got a few things to say.
I don't know about Mount Rainier. I know some of those distances, when they start getting up that high, the curvature is just crazy. And you think about the mountains of Canada, 165 miles away. When you do that math, it's 20,000 feet, and then you adjust it for the elevation. It should be 12,000 feet of curvature, and the mountains are only 9,000 feet high, yet you can see them very clearly with the sun setting behind them. Jaron did a good video on that. I think I remember when I landed in Narita Airport in Tokyo, I could see Mount Fuji 80 miles away. Haven't done the math on that one, but again, I know could probably see more of it than I should have. So
the mountains, if you do the math, they prove the Earth is flat, but it's a lot harder to get that through to a baller. That's because it's a mountain; it's sticking up high. There's so many beach level experiments that done. Taboo Conspiracy Channel, or if you go on the app and click Boats Over the Horizon, that's probably one of the longest playlists next to NASA Fakery, with countless, endless proofs. I think we're pretty much done with, these. They're going to keep coming, but there's too many we can see too far. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, so the whole ball Earth isn't falling apart. It's completely destroyed. It's just some people haven't realized it yet. And then I always wondered that, how I was talking before, all the planets spinning and all of their moons and all these bodies, and they never tug on each other and pull anything out of its perfectly timed cycle. When all the planets line up, there should be a huge tug. It should screw up everything, and everything should just slam together, and that's the end of it. Doesn't happen. Art, you made and I'm not picking on you, but I love pointing this out. You said for 6 trillion years. I don't know how old the Earth is supposed to be, but
I think he was being facetious.
I think he was. He said trillion billion because people are like trillion billion. 6 trillion is such a big number. I don't think it exists as a number.
Nice.
Matt, how long is 6 trillion seconds?
Isn't it like 30,000 years or something?
No, that's 1 trillion seconds.
Oh, okay. 180 trillion. 180,000 years.
180,000 years is
wow.
6 trillion seconds, and I don't think 180,000 years exists.
Yeah, I agree. Like I talked before, I can't vouch for anything prior to 1982 at this point.
You said 81 earlier. Now you're moving it up.
Well, maybe it'll be 85 next time we talk. I don't even know if I was born in 82. That's what they told me.
You were born in 82?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. I graduated high school before you were born.
Jess was born in 92.
Well, I can vouch that 1981 was real.
Okay, so we can go back to 81 at this point.
Yeah, and I'm not really sure what was real before that because I was fast asleep.
Right. Well, I'm about to take a big motorhome trip down to Texas, and I've got a ton of Anatoly Fomenko loaded up to listen to.
Are you bringing the goats with you? You mentioned that you might bring a goat with you.
We might bring the goat the next time we go down when we have the baby in November for the Dallas conference, depending on Jess's ability to nurse, and if the goat is nursing at that point.
That I can't even go there.
Here's what we're trying to do. Okay, we're building a container home. We're parking our motorhome on the property. We're bringing our goat. Maybe have a above ground pool, and then we're going to try to buy the neighbor's property next door. And He doesn't want to sell, and so I thought maybe if we brought the goat, the motorhome, above ground pool, shipping container, he'd want to sell.
That's very funny. Because I was going to suggest that, and then there you go.
Not to mention the 4 kids running around with no clothes on, probably.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Are you planning on moving the clan to Texas?
We're going down there for a few weeks. We'll be down in Texas for 2 weeks, and then
secretly, that's your mission, right?
Yeah, maybe at some point, yeah.
To get out
at some point, get out of the snow up here. Though I really did enjoy the winter and the summer, but I don't know. I think the plan eventually is to go further south than Texas. So, once everything starts to melt,
the outward flow of civilizations.
Yeah, maybe.
There you go.
Maybe. We'll have to follow the sun. So, which we need to check coming up on December 22nd if it's moving back north again, right?
Right. Hey, today is Friday the 13th. There's a harvest moon, full moon, I believe.
Yep, I'll be taking pictures.
Yes, people are they want people to film it at its apex and then report back to the GlobeLight Tour or somebody. I think Roxanne, the Globe Denier, was organizing that.
Okay.
So if you're up around midnight and you could film the moon, that would be interesting to film the sun. That would prove flat Earth.
Nice. Yeah, it would be if you could film it at midnight.
Anything else before we wrap this one up?
Where can people find you?
They can find me at theflatearthpodcast.com. DITRH is my YouTube. Check out our Facebook page. Guess how many likes we have on our Facebook page as of today?
How many?
33,330, I think.
Wow, we need 3 more. Very Masonic.
Yeah, so
amazing.
That's interesting.
Nice. Yeah, I guess you mentioned following Jess. If you want to check out our the bloodbath that was the chicken slaughter.
Oh, I'm linking it. Don't worry,
okay,
it'll be linked.
Okay. Jessica Faith Long on Facebook or Instagram at Prairie Faith, and you can find me at Woketown.
Right, and the vegans have been amazingly quiet. I think they just saw this and like, there's no hope. I'm not even going to comment.
They saw we were serious and we're not retreating. So
that is amazing.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, cool. Well, good episode, and we'll see you guys. At the very least, we'll be doing an episode in November at the conference.
And come to the conference. We'll get another episode in before then. Come to the conference. Bring your non-flat earther friends, family, wife. Your marriage is doomed if your partner is not a flat earther. So bring them. Doomed. You can fake it, but you ain't gonna make it. Come to the conference. They will be a flat earther. Okay, guaranteed.
Awesome. I
guaranteed.
Love it. Talk to you guys soon.
All right. That is all. Have a good day.
All right.
See ya.
I'm trying to see the curve. Oh wait, that's fake. Just another fisheye lens. Let's look at the ships at sea. They're getting farther now. Oh, they're not disappearing. And hey, there's a land that I should not see. But as I'm staring right at it, all this time did I believe in a big lie? Could I not see the earth was a straight line? I never saw a curve, never saw a curve. Only NASA's rendition, they say, is CGI. I have to do tests, show no curve, but a straight line.